Okay, I want to welcome everybody back to our destination series today. Um, we are talking about Iceland, and over the past, I guess this is our ninth destination series in a row. We've been all over the world. We've talked about Everest Base Camp and Kilimanjaro and Machu Picchu and Patagonia. And today we're going to focus on Iceland. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to introduce Christian here in a few minutes. Hi, Christian. Can you hear me?
Hi there, Dean. I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, great. Um, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through a presentation and go over our trip to Iceland, the land of fire and ice. And where is this? This, as many of you know, is up here in the North Atlantic Ocean. If we look at the country, it's about the size of our state of Kentucky. 40,000 square miles of the island. It's absolutely fantastic. It's right up there on the edge of the Arctic Circle. That being said, like we do all over the world, we focus on what we feel is the best time of year for the type of trip we want to offer. Of course, Iceland offers a lot of great times of the year, depending on what you're looking for. For us, we pick the summer season for the most part into our fall. So this is really able to operate June through September the way we do it. And the reason is the way that the Earth's axis tips and faces into the sun in those summer months. Up on the Arctic Circle, you can see that latitude line. As the Earth spins that time of year, we're going to have incredibly long days of daylight. So they're looking at 21 hours of the sun being out, and even in those couple of hours that the sun's not actually up, it doesn't really quite get dark the entire time. So it's a really great time of the year for us. Alternately, in the winter months, it would be the Arctic winter would be very dark. So we like that time of year. And a couple of years ago, I had gone up to do a Greenland Ice Cap Crossing. And I had contacted Christian prior to going up there because I knew that as worldwide trekking grew, we wanted to expand our destinations. We wanted to travel to new places, especially because we have a lot of guests that come again and again and again on trips. And we wanted to offer them. And just like many of the places that we travel, a big part of the reason is I also want to explore and travel to new places and offer new places to our guests. So before the trip in Greenland, I had the chance to go to Iceland and do some scouting, went into Greenland, did the crossing. That was 30 days. And then on the way back out, I had the chance to go again, scout some more. And then that summer went and spent an additional 2 weeks. And I really fell in love with it. It's absolutely beautiful. The people are great, and the environment had so many things to offer on this island, from the rugged coastline to the geothermal areas, the waterfalls, the glaciers, the icebergs, and all of these fantastic opportunities. I also fell in love with the architecture, and I stuck this in here because I didn't want to take all the credit myself, but when I designed our building, I really wanted to model it after the architecture that I saw up there using the corrugated metal siding and roofing. And I felt that our shape was similar. And we're far from done yet. I have a lot of work to do outside, but nonetheless, it's been really nice to model that after Iceland. But I found it to be such a beautiful country and so many things to offer. There are the typical bus tour type trips that you would see advertised on the internet. And just like all of the places we go, I wasn't really too keen on going to those places. Those places are beautiful, but they can often be crowded. They can often just be the main places people go. And I knew that Iceland had so much else to offer. And just like everywhere we go, I knew that the key to do that was to meet and befriend someone who's local. So I want to introduce our special guest today. I want to introduce Christian. Um, Christian lives just outside of Reykjavik with his wife and son. Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
I know it's late there, so we appreciate you staying up and being with us. It's just after 8 o'clock there, I believe.
Just after 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock there, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So just after 10 o'clock. So thank you for staying up for us. And now that we're caught up to speed, Christian is a mountaineer. He loves art, and he is an artist, and he's got a wide variety of skills. And it was really great to befriend him, meet him, and have him show me around. And then together we put this trip together. And I think that was a really nice thing. I think we see eye to eye in what we want to offer our guests. So thank you for taking the time with me, Christian. I really appreciate it. I think we have a great trip to offer here. So along with that, of course, the fun thing about Iceland is some of the words. Christian, do you want to pronounce this national park for me?
Should I try?
Can you pronounce the name of this national park?
Vatnajökulsþjóðgarður.
And you said it's 3 words, huh?
Vatnajökulsþjóðgarður.
So
yeah, it's kind of 3 words put together in one. Okay. Or no, correct me, stand me correct. 4 words put into one. It's kind of a thing we do with the Germanic languages, which Iceland is part of that linguistic tradition. And you see the first part is water, second is glacier, and then a national park in 2 words.
Okay.
And there you have it, and very easy to pronounce, Vatnajökulsþjóðgarður.
Well, that sounds good, and yeah, I appreciate you and all that you've shown me up there. We land in Reykjavik, and after flights land, typically for us there in Iceland, flights are going to arrive first thing in the morning. We do a bit of a tour out to Reykjavik, and then we make our way to our first evening spot. For us, just like all the places we travel, accommodations and lodging are very important for us and our guests. On this trip, we do have 1 night of glamping, 1 night of being in like a remote private, it's called the doctor's house cabin kind of thing. It's very nice. And then we stay in a variety of lodges each day. So Iceland can have, of course, because of its location in the Arctic and the Atlantic Ocean and being an island out there, can have some pretty awesome weather. And again, we'll go over the fact that we bring a gear list. Transportation is also very important to us. And Kristen, you help us get these amazing vehicles.
Yeah, this is a modified Mercedes Sprinter with goggles and tires that will take you over glacial rivers. We have some pretty, decent fording of glacial rivers. So a vehicle like this is going to be, very important on our tours to the highlands and to the Forsmark Nature Reserve. Without a vehicle like this, and also, the experienced driver that's going to join us, sure. Those places are not, accessible.
And that's part of the nature of our trip, is to get away from the big tour bus paved areas that go right to the parking lots. We do try to go to more remote areas, and I think that's what we spent time building and putting together here, is the idea that we could see more, getting into more remote areas. So 15 people in the van, typically we're going to have extra space in groups not that size, and we can run this trip for a variety of numbers, from private small groups up to one of our more traditional dated trips with multiple groups on it. So as we start, we're gonna head towards the southern area down here through the Fall Jabak Nature Reserve. Kristen, do you just want to mention a couple of the highlights at each one of these places as we're in these different areas?
Absolutely. Should we start with Fjatlabak?
Yeah, that would be great.
All right. It's translate into behind the mountains. And it's very, it used to be a place where local people actually feared to go there in late, centuries ago, because of fear about outlaws and ghosts and, supernatural beings and stuff like that. But when in the beginning of last century, and people started going there as for trekking and hiking, they discovered the most amazing, terrain. Huge, big open country with mountains, glaciers, patches of snow, geothermal activity, and the stark contrast. Sorry, with the green marsh vegetation and the black sand, which is kind of a characteristic to the Icelandic highlands. So
It's
you can spend days in, days out, just hiking there, and you're always seeing something new every day.
We spent a good 2.5 days here, a variety of waterfalls, and then it is amazing. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous and really remote, great hikes. Another one of the things that we're able to do is by day 4, I think you might all remember the time in 2010 when the ash cloud disrupted flight travel over, especially to Europe. And that was an eruption in Iceland. And it wasn't the first time this had erupted, but it did grow in size at this point, right? These two volcanoes, Magna and Mui, at that time. And when
Sorry,
it did,
Gene, can you read the broke a little bit? The connection broke a little bit there. Um, you were talking about Magni and Mode, the craters, and
yeah, and they had grown in 2010 a bit, and we do our hike up to these
yeah,
two newer volcanic tops.
yeah, we will be able to step on this, rugged and basically new lava field, and make our way up to those little, craters that are, left behind from the 2010 eruption, and which is great. It's kind of it's a, price you get for, walking, up there. The elevation is probably 2,500 feet. And as you're gaining height, you're always getting something new, and the vistas from the trails of Forsmerks over all the gullies and the glaciers are like you witnessed it, you've seen it all, they're
Yeah,
very impressive. And
very
at the end
impressive.
of the trail, you come to those craters.
So we kind of stay at a hut and put ourselves in position, drive way out there, get with our vehicle, spend the night, have a barbecue, then the next day do a really cool hike up to the Magna Mui and make our way back down. It's a fantastic day. And then there is also in the south the Thorsmork Nature Reserve as well. We
Yeah,
spent some
this
time
is
there.
actually a photo from the trail you take when you move up. And you're like a halfway up when you get this one of these viewpoints. And I tell you, this is something I can do every year. I never get tired of this.
No, it is fantastic and quiet, remote, and the green with the landscape. I mean, really amazing. The volcano Hekla as well. There's amazing
Yeah.
volcanoes and ice caps here, and we spend a
Mhm.
few days out in the southern area of the island, seeing some of the more remote areas. Of course, along the way, there's some of the popular tourist spots that we maybe stop at or drive by and see as well. But the landscape and the countryside in this whole area is absolutely gorgeous. And do you have an idea how many waterfalls there are in Iceland? Does anybody ever think about that? Endless, huh?
Countless, you know.
Countless. I remember doing a hike with the Christian, the other guide, and he said, try to count the waterfalls, and there is no chance.
Yeah.
Coming off the back side of one of the hikes. Fantastic. So from down here in the southern area, where we spend a few days, we're going to make our way up through some of the Golden Circle area. The Golden Circle is the area that's primarily seen. There's a number of different sites to see that are a lot of the areas that the tour bus areas go through. This is one of the famous waterfalls that a lot of people tour through and see. Really beautiful landscape. We do a lot of, our days are primarily with an objective to do a moderate hike, you know, like a nice hike, takes us time, pack a lunch, get out there and see things, and then we move along. So after a couple days down in this whole south area, we make our way up to the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. Kristen, you can pronounce me on the pronunciation there. You can correct me, please.
You're doing good, Dean.
And you know, we go out there to the peninsula in the national park. And do you want to just talk about a couple of the highlights in this area? I mean, it's amazing rugged coastline and the cliffs, and absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you're out there on the westernmost part of the peninsula, where the hike around the lighthouse, it goes from there, from this sea cliffs that are just amazing. You're bordering there the cliffs. Well, on the other hand, you have the craters you see in the background,
Like over
and
in
then
here.
you know, a little bit hidden in the clouds is the enigmatic glacier Snæfellsjökull, with a lot of folklore about that. You have a very good time with the guides explaining everything about that. And you know, it's kind of difficult to, you know, talk about this, but I always go back to when I was touring a few years ago with a guy, you know, on a private excursion who's been all over the world, and he just looked at me and said, Christian, this is probably the best, you know, hike I've ever done in my life, with this type of, you know, landscape. You know, you have the cliffs here, the sea cliffs. I love to be around the sea. And then you have, you know, the lava fields coated with moss. And then, as that is not enough, you've got craters and the glacier for a backdrop. So, yeah, it's a good reason why we go there.
Yeah, it's got a, you know, really amazing hiking, and then some of these more accessible, like this crater that you can hike up right up to and look in. And I mean, it's just an amazing time out there on the peninsula. We stay out there on the peninsula, spend the night. So we've got a couple days on the peninsula and in the national park, and it's absolutely fabulous. I mean, the days are full, and I guess the other thing is the days are long with a lot of light. So the next area that we're going to go is up to the Western Fjords, and I would say that I kind of think that this was my favorite part of the scouting and favorite part of the trip. We fly up to the Fjord here, and that's up in this area of the country, and it's right on the Arctic Circle, just south of the Arctic Circle, kind of tipping through the top of Iceland there. And then when we land in this really cool little fishing village, and from there it's just, you know, probably when we get back from the days out on the reserve here. Do you want to just talk a little bit about the nature reserve? Tell us what about the reserve out there.
Mhm, mhm. Well, once you come, you know, you're off the plane in Isafjordur village, and in the fjords of the west, you get the feelings that you're in a different place. You know, small, enchanting fishing village, and the atmosphere is this. It's just completely different from what you experience so far on the tour of Iceland. And then you get the boat tour. You know, you're going out of the fjords, you know, around the big peninsula into the little cove of Hortvik, where they put up a glamping site, our partners there. And you're gonna stay, you know, for the entire stay there. You know, you're on your own, and this is like coming to the end of the world. You know, this
It
is like
is.
the northernmost part you go to, and you get the sense of the feeling that this is Land's End. You know, this is where civilization is like the borders.
It is
And
perfect. It's beautiful.
yeah, yeah, and it's just wonderful to have time there in the serenity, the solitude, and you know, you're seeing maybe, you know, the rare species of the Arctic fox. They'll be, you know, wobbling around there. You know, they're used to be seeing, you know, people without fearing them, and they come to the glamping site every now and then, just, you know, check on those funny species that they see in the summer times. And we go to one of the highest sea cliffs in Iceland, where you have nothing else but you know, the endless Greenland Sea in front of you and the Arctic Ocean.
It's
And we get to cross the peninsula of the nature reserve to Claver Lodge, where we have an old house, old for ourselves, and our guides, pretty known for cooking up decent food. They will take care of you for 2 or 3 nights, depending on what you choose there. But this is, you know, we both agreed on. We talked about this. This is also my favorite part of Iceland. You know,
it's
this is something that I mean, I was brought up in the mountain hiking and all that. You know, highlands and climbing and glaciers and stuff like that. But when I discovered this place, because you know, I thought it was not, you know, up to my, you know, standard, but uh, you know, forget it. I go there twice a year, just, you know, just to unwind and hike and you know, it's an amazing place.
It was an easy choice after we did all the different scouting. There was a number of things we visited that, you know, we didn't put in the itinerary. You can't do it all. We load up
Mm-hmm.
in these boats right here, and then we set out and do about a 2.5 hour boat ride around here on the Greenland Sea, like Christian's saying. Come in, and there's a glamp site there, very comfortable, wood stoves in the tents and stuff. And then after some time there, if you can see my pointer, we hike on through over to the other side of the nature reserve. And it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's just incredibly beautiful, very remote and rugged, and very quiet. And when we stay at the house here on the way back on the other side, the farmer doctor's house there, and yeah, it is a really special experience. I mean, I really enjoy this area up there and the rugged and remoteness of the whole thing. So after a couple days up into here and the Western Fjord area, we get back on our charter plane. We do fly up there, and then we fly back down to, you know, the area in Reykjavik, to the airport. And then this was another pretty special experience I found. Not far outside of Reykjavik, there is a volcano that has a magma chamber that is been drained out. So typically, when a volcano erupts and the magma comes out and becomes lava and flows out, the magma chamber is left with hardened lava magma in there. And this is, I believe, the only known one in the world that is a small opening up here, and we lower down into it 400 feet. So you can see, if you're like for us from the United States, Statue of Liberty, and how high that is. It's a beautiful hike in. We see some of the lava caves, the lava tubes on the way, like this picture here. There's a little hut area out there where we stage out of and make our way up to the chamber. Then if you see on the left-hand side, that little, it's kind of what would remind me of a scaffolding they'd use to clean windows on a skyscraper, maybe 8-10 people on there, and it lowers us all the way down in. So you're not wearing harnesses or anything, you are wearing helmets. And when you get down in there, they have all these lights that are shining up, and you see all these amazing colors, and we explore this whole chamber. And the nice thing is that this as well is really limited to people because of the fact that you come in on that lift and are lowered down on that scaffolding to the bottom. You spend some time in there. I mean, right down inside of the volcano, a really, really amazing experience. And I believe, I think they say this is the only one in the world, right, Christian?
Yeah, to my knowledge too. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, they say, the only known one anyway, because there could be other ones out there. Hard to see in this photo, but you can see the little slot that we squeeze through. It's just a little bit bigger than the scaffolding that we lower in on. Then towards the end, we make our way back to Reykjavik and have some time there to explore our final night after the magma chamber day. And that's a really fun day because it's a nice couple mile hike out to it. We go down into it, we explore the magma chamber, we come back out, we have lunch at the hut, and then we hike back out. So it's a full day and a really fantastic conclusion to the trip. I do have a little bit of an add-on for people, after the last night in Reykjavik, depending on when flights return back to the US. This is not in our program, but it's an easy add-on to do. It's the famous Blue Lagoon. It's very popular. Can be a bit of people here. Obviously, these are two pictures off the internet, and there are a fair amount of people that come here to these thermo pools, like a spa type day, and then you could go to the airport. It's very close to the airport, and on the way back to the airport's a good 45 minutes from downtown Reykjavik. Or there's the option to spend additional time in Reykjavik, and there's additional activities that we can put together there as well. Anything to add, Christian?
Excuse me?
Do you have anything to add to our tour?
No, it's pretty thorough. I think, extra day to indulge in the Blue Lagoon is not a bad idea, to splash out a little bit. They have the new retreat part, which is not crowded at all. You obviously you're paying for that luxury, but it's worth every penny.
Yeah, and it's kind of another spot that's while you're there, why not? And it does fit into the flight schedules pretty well. And it is a spa, so it's not hard to enjoy the day there. And then, clean up, have a shower to catch your flight back. Just like all of our trips, we're going to, give everybody a complete trip detail with all the information about our adventure, the days, day-to-day, thorough, the all of the different details. It's really important, as all of our adventures, to have a good gear list and to follow the gear list, so you don't have to overpack. You're prepared for the elements, and you're very comfortable and safe during the adventure. I do think that Iceland is an amazing destination. There's so much to see and explore, and it really is a fun adventure. We had a fun time building this trip. We went back and forth with lots of options and ideas. And what I really try to do is think of our guests and what they're really going to enjoy in the 10 night, 11-day time frame for this trip. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm happy to answer some questions, and Christian can help answer some questions if anybody has any questions. I don't see any up right now, but I did want to mention, because of course, as we've gone through these, the COVID pandemic that we've all been going through has been on a lot of people's mind. And I do know that Iceland is a country of 360,000 people. And for weeks and weeks and weeks, I'm happy to report that they have no coronavirus cases. And it's really nice that you guys have been able to control the pandemic over there, Christian. And I think as things ease, we will look forward to being able to get over there. So I got a couple questions here. What is the definition of moderate hike in terms of distance and elevation? It's a good question. And we had a lot of uh, options when it came to this. And a moderate hike, we're looking at about 5 miles. We're looking at about 2,000 feet of elevation gain. And I think when we look at different hike abilities that I think of with our different trips is the elevation here is right off the sea, right? We're on an island. It's lower elevation until we climb up into the mountains, but we're not looking at the higher elevations, 12,000, 14,000 feet and that. And because of that, when you go to stop and take a rest, the recovery for your body is much quicker, and you feel better because there's more oxygen available and more pressure in the air, and you recover more quickly on a short break. So these are all guided hikes. These are, about 5 miles. Sometimes we might go more, sometimes less, but sometimes we'll do multiple short hikes in a day and that kind of thing. But we did eliminate any of the really long hikes. So it's really is set up for a wide variety of guests. And because they're guided, because we have multiple guides, if somebody's not feeling up to it, I would say that it's beautiful all along the way every day, and we can help adapt the program if we need to. The same if somebody wanted to get a little bit more distance in, we could adapt for that as well. I don't see any more questions that have come up. Christian, do you have anything to add?
Well, I'm just happy to, if somebody wants to get into specifics, I'm always here, happy to, respond to later questions.
Okay, I have a couple more questions here, just asking about the typical group size. And when we start new trips, of course, we would love it to have a scheduled trip on the calendar where people can help arrange their calendar to come on those, so we can put 6, 8, 10 people on. That's going to be our kind of sweet spot to be able to operate the trip. If that doesn't work for certain people and they have certain summer schedules, they want to go in August or something, the beauty of it is we can send you over, arrange all the details with Christian, and he and his guides can help take care of things, and we can go with a smaller group size. And it says also, will you and Kat be on the trip? Yeah, I would love to be on one of these trips that we have on the scheduled calendar. So if you contact us, what we would love to do is start to build people that are interested in going on the trip, and formulate a group and get everybody to be able to go. There's a trip this September, and then there's 2 trips that are on the calendar for next year 2022. So this year, the trip that goes in September, I believe I'll be guiding elsewhere. So I wouldn't be on this one this fall, but you would be in great hands with Christian. And then next year, as we build this out, I will be going back as well. So you can check my calendar in the office. And of course, I try to get Kat on as many trips that I'm going on. And it's usually not hard to convince her to do that. So thank you all for joining us. Christian, thanks so much. I really appreciate all your time helping me organize this. And I look forward to seeing you and working together and bringing some great groups over to your great country. I got a couple more little comments, but nothing to really respond to. Thank you guys for the questions. I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us on our destination series. And Christian, thanks for staying up so late for us.
No problem.
Time on the computer. Okay, take
forward to see you in person.
I look forward to it.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Cheers. Take care.